we had just seen some people try to do development over there and they did it wrong. And so really quickly, we just said, we're gonna have 6 principles that guide how we do this. The first is to say that anyone who has access to power and money usually thinks they're a blessing to the community they're going into. But that's one, fundamentally wrong. It's also paternalistic. And so what we said is if we leverage that, we believe that what makes great humans is community. It's overcoming obstacles. It's sticking together. It's doing things that people said couldn't be done. And that exists in abundance in the Black community. And so we said, hey, if we leverage the things that we have, would you just let us be a part of your community? Mm-hmm. So one was flipping the power wealth, the power wealth dynamic on its side. The second was to say, typically when we decide we want to do something good, as long as we can stay in control, then we're comfortable with it. And so we said that's also problematic. And so we called Sandino, who was a friend of mine, and said, hey, would you become the lead for us on this? So you get to speak on behalf of the project. You get authority over the project. You become an equity member in the project. You get development fees. This becomes like we will submit to you if you feel like things are going in the wrong direction. The third thing we did was we said, we're going to take money that we get from the city and we're going to pass it on to our tenants instead of protecting the investors. So reduced rent by 30%. We gave 6 times the amount of build out the spaces. The fourth thing we did was we said, like we talked about this earlier, gentrification that leads to displacement is really problematic. And so we don't know what we're going to be like in 10 years. And so what we said is, instead of hoping that we still have great values and all of these things, we're actually just going to roll our tenants in as owners in the space. So if they signed a lease, they became a 15% owner in their space. So now we were flipping the whole tenant landlord into, now they're our partners. Mm-hmm. And we're going to figure out how to do this together. And then what we did was we said, we're going to pay the community to tenant the buildings. And so instead of us bringing in a broker or us trying to tenant the spaces, we said, if you know someone within your community that wants to come here and they sign a lease, we'll pay you the brokerage commission for it. Wow. And so we called it a consulting fee so that we don't. Yeah, because
it's against all real estate.
Yes, yeah. So it's like, we just paid them a consulting fee. They didn't negotiate the lease. They just brought the person there. Mm-hmm. We got to pay a bunch of people, and we never would have had the tenant mix that we had we tried to go fill that, right?
I mean, it's a big deal to pick your neighbors.
Yeah, it is. It is. And then the final piece was we said, we're gonna use this development to find other people who are interested in development and try to train them up in future developments so they can learn how to redevelop their own community. Those were kind of the 6 core principles that guided us.